الله أكبر الله أكبر.
طيب، بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We talked about the number 5 of things in contract, the important state of contract, and now number 6. قال أن يكون المبيع مقبوضا إن كان قد استفاد ملكه بمعاوضة، وهذا شرط خاص، وقد نهى الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم عن بيع ما لم يقبض ويستوي فيه العقار والمنقول، فكل ما اشتراه وباعه قبل القبض فبيعه باطل، وقبض المنقول بالنقل وقبض العقار بالتخلية ومتاعه بشرط الكيل لا يتم إلا بأن يكتاله، أما بيع الميراث والوصية والوديعة وما لم يملك الملك حاصلا فيه بمعاوضة وهو جائز قبل القبض. طيب, say that a person make a business deal and say, I would like to buy this land from you. And the person says, I will sell it to you. Before I get it, I go and sell it to somebody else. Just on the promise that you buy it and sell it to me. He said that's not permissible. يعني مقبوض, mean you have to own it first in order to sell it. And that's the problem with the option. Stock options. Right. You don't own it, you're selling only the option. In Islam, you have to take the risk. And the risk has to be real. So you get it and then you sell it.
You have to hold title.
You have to hold title, okay, in order to sell it. The rukn al-thalith, this is the rukn. Remember, all of this was the second rukn, the rukn al-thalith. لفظ العقد فلا بد من جيران إيجاب وقبول متصل به بلفظ دال على المقصود. Now, in contract, there's offer and acceptance. That including, by the way, the marriage contract itself, there's an offer and acceptance. But when we deal with selling, the offer and acceptance has to be clear. Cannot be implied, because that's the room for dispute. Now, can a person ask somebody to sign the contract in their behalf? Yes, has a called wakala, توكيل. But that wakala, that power of attorney, they have to have witnesses. They have to have witnesses that this person gave this authority to somebody else. مفهم إما صريح أو كناية. ولو قال أعطيتك هذا بذاك بدل قولي بعتك فقال قبلته جاز مهما قصد به البيع. If a person would say, I give you this, so you can give me this, that's still called buying and selling. The language it doesn't include the word selling or buying, but it's been understood the term to be buying and selling. There's something very important in Islam. Intention counts in contract. But the intention in contract has to have a qarina, which is an indicator that what meant by the contract. For example, if somebody have a contract, it says, always I use this example, it says rent. The heading of the contract says rental contract. But everything in it indicates is a selling contract, is a sale contract, saying, I sell you this house to give me this much. If you don't give me the money now, you pay me in installment, and so. But the heading of the contract says rental. Will you consider rental or selling? Sale contract. In Islam, we consider sale contract. The ruling come from the maximum of law. قاعدة فقهية تقول العبرة في العقود بالمباني لا بالألفاظ والمعاني. بالمباني لا بالألفاظ والمعاني. The contract is based on actual intent, not in the wording. That if the wording is limited, then the wordings become what? Carry weight. For example, if he says, I'm going to rent my house to you, and there's witnesses, and to pay me every month this much. That person cannot come and say, you sold me the house. Because the wording was clear, the nature of it is clear, those kind of things. Okay? Or he says, I will rent you the house, give me the money, I will give you the title. The question here is this, the word renting, and I will give you the title, also in wording, person used words, which one counts? The rent or to give you the title?
Sale.
The sale. The same thing, okay? طيب لأنه قد يحتمل الإعارة إذا كان في ثوبين ودبتين والنية تدفع الاحتمال والنية تدفع الاحتمال, which is the intention takes away the probabilities of being احتمال in Arabic means probability. That take the probability this contract is not a rent, it's a sale contract. والصريح أقطع للخصومة. The clear wording of contract, it will end any kind of dispute, would take any possibility of dispute. أقطع means clarity of any disagreement or dispute later. In other words, Islam encouraging a person to be more specific, more precise in his or her language, either inter-business contract, not to have it in a way that is not clear. That someone have dispute later. ولكن الكناية تفيد الملك والحل أيضا بما يختار, ولا ينبغي أن يقرر بالبيع شرطا على خلاف مقتضى العقد, ولو شرط أن يزيد شيئا آخر وأن يحمل المبيع على داره أو اشترى الحطب بشرط النقل إلى داره, كل ذلك فاسد إلا إذا أفرد استئجاره على النقل ووجدت المعلومة منفردة عن شراء المنقول. This is something very interesting. In Islam, you cannot have two contracts in one contract. You have to sign two separate contracts. What I mean by that, he says a person bought any merchant, and then after he bought it, he said to the person, carry it to my home. He said, why? He said, I bought it from you, therefore you have to carry it. He said, no, the shipping has to be different from the contract of selling. You have to differentiate between shipping and the sale contract. You see what I'm saying? We should charge the person separately. He said, this is how much the book gonna cost, and $5 for shipping.
You can write in one contract that I buy from you, but you send it to my home.
Yeah, you can send it to my home. No, you cannot tell the other person I send it to my home. You have another contract. Unless he or she, the seller, agreed. Say, I will sell you the book that will come to your home. That is fine. Because if you insist in a contract after the sale, you're asking the other person to do something that was not part of the sale.
It's just separating the price. You have to have the sale price
Yes.
for the contract and then the price for the
Now, but let me tell you something. The amazing, is brilliant way Islam deals with things. Because Islam doesn't want you to value things based on the pressure on the person selling it by putting condition on them afterwards. You get my point? Therefore, the actual value of the things is based on supplies and demand. The other is called service. Service come with it. You have to differentiate that qima, that value of the service, from the actual value of the merchant. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Dr. Yaqub Mirza, I asked him, on the 22nd, the 22nd,
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from now, we'll be talking about investment. And in the 12th, we'll be talking about giving. Okay? Now, we'll deal with all of that. 5 pillars of the prosperity from Islamic perspective. Now, شوف يقول but it's amazing things about Imam al-Ghazali. The Islamic law give an ability to learn so many things. If you are a faqih, you get to know business ethics. You get to know criminal laws. You get to know the rituals, fiqh of rituals, ibadat and so forth. And you get to know theology. All of it. But look what he's saying here. طيب كل ذلك فاسد إلا إذا أفرد استئجاره على النقل بأجرة معلومة منفردة عن الشراء المنقول. That he said he have to separate the contract of delivering from buying. وما لم يجري بينهما إلا المعاطاة بالفعل دون التلطف باللسان لم ينعقد البيع عند الشافعي أصلا. مهما لم يجري بينهما إلا المعاطاة بالفعل دون التلطف باللسان لم ينعقد البيع عند الشافعي أصلا. وانعقد عند أبو حنيفة إذا كان في محقراته ثم ضبط المحقرات عسير. يعني Imam Shafi'i and Abu Hanifa differentiate between, somebody says, oh, your car is nice. He said, do you want to buy it? And the person says, yeah. He said, okay, I sold it to you. He said, does not consider sale until there's actually contract. Exchange of money, because just being nice sometimes, or at the moment you have not thought about it, it does not consider sale. Now Abu Hanifa said it considers sale in the matters are not that important, small things, but things at a great value is not considered. Imam al-Ghazali, because he's Shafi'i, said, how do you then have establish a criterion of what is so important, what is less important? Before he said, just don't do it to begin with. Have you seen this what called social, courtesy? Sometimes people say,
in amongst Urdu speaking, they say takalluf.
Takalluf. In Sudan, the Sudanese program, it's called hidden camera. I don't know if in America they do this. Hidden camera. The guy went to a particular Arab
Candid
country.
camera.
Huh?
They call it candid camera.
Candid camera. He went to a particular country that been known of takalluf, without mentioning the country. Because he took a cab, and at the end of the cab he said, how much? He said, oh, leave it on me. The guy said, okay, leave it on me. Left. He said, what do you mean by that? He grabbed him. He said, I didn't mean that. I did not leave it on me. In Islam, this could be a problem. But in Shafi'iyya said, he has to really to mean it. That's why somebody sometimes says, I like this, say, take one. Then a person just take it and go and say, I didn't mean that. Because you expect him to say, no, I don't have to take it. You know what I mean? And therefore you're counting in the wrong, you're taking a risk. نفاق اجتماعي. These social problems. Culture, but when the two cultures come together, then you have to understand this. People, you have to mean it from your heart. And I learned my way in the United States. You have to mean it. You have to be honest. You cannot just, because people take it that you mean that. Okay? Yeah, there's a cultural issue. Okay. طيب وانعقد عند أبو حنيفة نعم. فإذا رد الأمر إلى العادات فقد جاز الناس المحقرات في المعاطاة. He said sometimes culturally people allow the things that are not important to be like with تكلف. You let go with تكلف. He says إذا قدم الدلال على البزاز يأخذ منه ثوبا ديباجا قيمته 10 دنانير مثلا ويحمله إلى المشتري ويعود إليه بأنه تضافه فيقول له خذ 10 فيأخذ من صاحب ال10 ويحملها ويسلمها إلى البزاز ويأخذها يتصرف فيها مشتري ثوب يقطعه ولم يجر بينهما إيجاب وقبول أصلا وذلك اجتمع المجهزون على حانوت البياع. He said that sometime the broker, somebody come between people and convince me, says, you know, you want to have buy a suit? I say, you know, I have a suit, I don't need to buy a suit. He say, no. I will get you a suit, very good price, $50. Okay, just wait here. He go to the store, he said, give me a suit, $50. I have someone to buy it for me. And this guy, the two people have not have ijab al qubul. The broker is between. He goes to the salesperson, said, give me a suit. I'll give you $50. He take it. The guy said, take it, $50. $50. Nothing. And he take the $50 and give the guy. He said, see, I sold it $50, but give me $60. Give me $10 extra. I sold it for $50 for you. Okay. He's saying that it's okay because a person come and did that. He sold it. But the problem that if the person doesn't work for this man, he sold something he does not own. He sold something he doesn't own. Especially if he says, give me $50, I will get you a nice suit. The guy, he doesn't own the suit. You go to the guy who have the suits. They said, I sold you $50, give me the suit. The risk here, what the risk? There's any risk in this involved?
Well, one of the risks is that the seller could say, I'm not going to pay you any commission.
Yes.
Because we didn't have a contract.
Exactly. And what else? What the other risk? What other risk?
You won't get it for the price.
The other risk is that if there's a deficiency on it,
Right. Who carries the warranty?
exactly, who take the liability? Who take the liability?
Seller.
What?
Seller.
The person gave you the suit. But that person, if the only thing he did just took the suit and took the $50
He's just a
and,
broker.
and hit the road.
It's the initial.
Exactly. You know what I mean? What is very important to address this issue between the sellers and the buyer. طيب. فيعرض المتاع قيمته 100 دينار مثلا في من يزيد فيقول أحدهم هذا علي ب90 يقول الآخر هذا علي ب95 ويقول الآخر هذا ب100 فيقول زن فيزن ويسلم ويأخذ المتاع من غير إيجاب وقبول وقد استمرت به العادات وهذا من المعضلات التي ليست تقبل العلاج إذا الاحتمالات ثلاث إما فتح المعاطاة مطلقا في الحقير والنفيس. He said that this issue of broker, he says that some of it, it take the risk of also increasing the price. Increasing the price so much because the person doesn't own. Everyone entering the market, so what do you want to buy? I want to buy a suit. Okay, $100. Wait here, I'll bring it for you. The person goes to the person on the suit. He said, give me the suit, $60, and I go and buy it. He said that is fine, but it will increase the prices because you have broker between broker and broker and broker. By the time the merchant gets to someone, it's higher than what it is. But from Islamic perspective, if a person owns it and he sold it, you cannot tell them he did the wrong thing. You can't say that. Okay? And therefore he says that there's the three probabilities to address this issue. إما فتح المعاطاة مطلقا في الحقير والنفيس وهو محال إذ فيه نقل الملك من غير لفظ دال عليه. He said either to open this exchange of goods in everything, whether it's something small or big. You don't restrict it to say something not important. And by the way, that will happen in the housing market. What happened in the housing market in America? Submortgages. What do you mean by submortgages?
Subprime mortgages. You mean?
Subprime mortgages.
They were charging people a much lower interest rate.
Okay.
Okay. And the way they were doing that is they were essentially telling the person who was getting the mortgage to write up things about yourself as far as what you own when you didn't own it.
Yes.
So, for instance, one of the things they were doing is like they said they have $5,000 in one bank account, take it out of this bank, put it in another bank, take it out of another bank,
Yes.
and then you show three banks.
You
that
see
don't-
3 bank statements.
Right.
And you have people also. This person take mortgage and he does what? Sell it to
Right. Somebody else. Right.
somebody else.
Right.
That person sell it to somebody else. Okay. The issue of here, the problem here, that people are selling money. They're not selling property to begin with. They're selling the ability of paying back.
Right.
That's the issue. Here he says, if people do that, which is al-mu'ata mutlaqan, it becomes an issue. He says, وهو محال إذ فيه نقل الملك من غير لفظ دال عليه. Somebody transfer property without clarity and contract. وقد حل الله البيع والبيع اسم للإجابة والقبول. He said sales is offer and acceptance. Okay.
Well, actually, when you go and wanna in your actual real estate transaction, one of the things they tell you is that your mortgage could be sold.
Yes.
They actually specify that at the time of sale.
They sell it to somebody else.
Right.
Yeah. And people agree onto that.
Right.
Sell it to somebody.
You have no other choice. I mean,
Yeah, but that's the problem because they're selling your rights to your property to somebody else who has not engaged with you in the selling. He said ijab al-qabul has to be between the buyer and the seller.
Right.
But you bring somebody else, sell them, the contract. You cannot sell just the contract. You have to redo the contract between you and the new person. That's the problem.
One
Right.
question. What is the position of brokerage profession in Islam?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong?
Nothing wrong.
Because he doesn't own anything. He just sells you something.
No, that's the problem. He can tell you what to buy, how to buy it, or he can become between. Okay? But if a person sell things and take money without he owns, not permissible. Because two type of problems. Someone they tell you things, tell you those are the things you can buy. And then they present you in the sale, and then he take the money. That's the broker. Broker in stocks and other things like that, if he was to sell you something he doesn't own at all and take your money, there's a risk there, he might not have that.
But he's taking commission.
No, I'm saying that if you're taking a commission by collecting is fine, but he's selling you things and he doesn't have it. I should take the money without own things in his hand or her hand. That's the problem. لا يجوز بعملات تملك. The only transaction that's closest to this, I take the doctor with me to the market. And the market, the doctor says, these things I like. I don't have the cash in my hand. Can you buy it and sell it to me? I have the cash and I buy it and I sell it to you and say, pay me in installment. That ulama agreed that's permissible. Because I have owned it, but you identified it. You said, I want it. And I bought it for you. The risk here, I buy it, you said, I don't want it. That's the risk. Okay? But I cannot write a contract for you for sales before I buy it. See what I'm saying? For I have to buy it and then sell it to you. But you can tell me, I want to buy a car. That's what Islamic bank can do. He take you and show you the car, take you Toyota and says, what car do you want? You said, this car. Okay, you know I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna sell it to you. I'm gonna make profit. You said yes. You take it and you pay me in installment. بيع المؤجل, called بيع المؤجل.
Is there a limit to how much you sell?
Now,
Can you double the price or triple the price?
you know, in Islam, taking advantage of someone is not permissible to begin with. There's the whole system based on maqasid al-sharia, the value of ethics and value of justice.
So if you're buying a house, for example, and then I'm gonna spend 30 years paying you installments, I think that's what some of the banking systems, the Islamic system, they buy the house, they have they own the house, they share the ownership, and then you have 30 years to make installments to pay the house. So the house price would be double or triple.
No, but the 30 years of delaying having my money back.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
So it's okay to.
Yeah, as long as it was the customary, the customs is like, to be honest with you, one of the worst things happen is people become dependent on plastic money. This 20%, 28% interest, where people wait until it doubled and tripled and so forth. That's why people go bankruptcy. Just halallahu al-bay' wa haram al-riba.
Well, there are two ways of using credit cards. One is for convenience, and at the end of the month, you pay your bill.
Yeah.
But there are some people who don't have the money.
That's not. I'm talking about the second people. Right? طيب فبماذا يحكم بانتقال الملك من الجانبين؟ لا سيما في الجواري والعبيد والعقارات والدواب النفيسة وما يكثر التنازع فيه. إذا المسلم يرجع فيه. And by the way, some of these things have been taken away today by a system of contract and recording system, because most of the bay' and selling used to be done in Arabia. Most of the time is verbal. That's why the longest ayah in the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah is about writing contract. الاحتمال الثاني أن نسد الباب الكلية كما قال الشافعي رحمه الله تعالى من بطلان العقد. That the second probability is to close the door, to say clear exchange, don't sell something just try to exchange of sell and buying and selling without actually have a clear contract, without having the seller and the buyer be face to face. He said, لكن الإمام الشافعي وفيه إشكال من وجهين أحدهما أنه يشبه يكون ذلك المحقرات معتادا في زمن الصحابة، ولو كانوا يتكلفون الإجابة والقبول من البقال والخباز والقصاب لثقل عليهم فعله، ونقل ذلك نقلا منتشرا، ولكان يشتهي الوقت الإعراض بالكلية عن تلك العادة، وأن الإعصار في مثل هذه تتفاوت. والثاني أن الناس الآن قد انهمكوا فيه، ولا يشتري الإنسان شيئا من الأطعمة وغيرها إلا ويعلم أن البائع قد ملكه بالمعاطاة، فأي فائدة في تلفظه بالعقد إذا كان أمر كذلك. He says that the second thing, he debated even the Imam Shafi'i. He said you cannot close the door completely onto this issue. It's based on from time to time and what people consider customs of buying and selling. In principle. Okay? And therefore he said if somebody takes something, sometimes you have ijab al-qabul, have not done directly. You go to open buffet in restaurant, you took the plates or you pick up your own food and you come and pay for it. There is no actually wording of hijab and qabul. I buy you this, you sell this, and so forth. But this implies I took the merchant and he paid for it. There's no description of the merchant. The guy does not tell you what the sandwich look like, or doesn't tell you what this is. You took it, and it does happen in the shopper, at grocery stores, and those kind of things. You take the fruit. There's no actually somebody selling. It says, this by this is apple. You want to buy this apple? Yes, you pay this much and there's a price tag on it. Sometimes there's no price tag. You take it and whatever it's gonna cost, you're gonna pay for it. You see what I'm saying? He says, look at this man, far side. He said it's gonna change from time to time. We should not insist in the wording. Although sometimes the wording in the verbal take place is a problem, but here is a custom that you can take whatever you take and you come and you pay for it as long as you know that you have the money to pay for it. How many times a person will come to a cashier in America and they realize that, oh, I didn't know this, I thought it's on sale, or I said the price is this way or that way, before they say, I don't want it. Now, the question from Islamic perspective, have you changed your mind on a sale after you agreed on it? Or the customs in America, you agree on the sale at the time of paying for it? Which is which? Let me tell you something Muslims do here and it's haram in America. How many times you heard me say what haram? Very rare. The word haram they do is a person, brothers and sisters, go to any place to shop with the intention of returning. It's haram. It's ha-ra alif mim. Because of using of things, it does not belong to us without paying for the usage of it. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. You cannot use something without paying for it. I've seen people use suits, use something for because they have party, whatever it may be, with the intention of returning. Am I correct or am I making up this?
You're correct.
Not just Muslims.
People go to wedding with the clothes with the intention of returning it. Because I charge them the credit card, I buy the most expensive dress. I come back and say what? I want to return it. A person who have done this have actually put their hand in somebody's pocket and took money, stole it. It's not permissible. And not only Muslims. I know many people do that. I'm just saying a Muslim, if a Muslim does that, that is really unacceptable because you have to hold them to a higher ethical, moral ground. You see what I'm saying? Therefore, he's talking about the mu'ata. Mu'ata, part of the mu'ata is that the people do not have real sales because the intention of the person not really to buy food, although he did the transaction, but it's not intention to buy. It's to return it. Some of the mu'ata is customary, as I said, you buy things and you come and pay for it because there's no one told you and negotiate with you, nothing in the grocery store. Some they have price, some they don't have price, they just have this barcode. You come and they scan it. But you made a contract with you and the person that I will go to the store and whatever is going to come out, I'm going to buy. You scan it, the price is more than what you thought. You could have attended at the time. That's the issue. Now, and that's why in Islam, the return, the policy of return, you return things based on deficiency, not of lack of interest of using it anymore. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Yeah?
What if you change your mind? Sometimes you buy something, you go home, you try it, you don't like it, you want to return it.
See, the issue here is this. That if a person bought something and there's something wrong with the deficiency, bay'a, we call this, he found gharar, somebody lied about something, or deficiency, or defect in the machine, then the person have a right to return it. Now,
somebody buys something and the intention is not to buy it and return it, but you bought it. Sometimes you try something in the store, when you go home you try it, doesn't feel the same way. So you just don't like it, you return it. But
Yeah,
kinship-
no. That's different. That's different. That's different in one sense. That the customary, that you can do that.
Okay.
Because they want you to keep coming back to the store to buy something else. But if a person keep doing this, that you take things and then you dress them as a seller, using it and come returning, that's different. But if the customs, the urf, which is very important in selling a contract, if the urf allow that, it's fine. The problem is the intention, the niyyah. Now,
There's one issue that you have to keep in mind: the merchant. Okay, so when you get something from a merchant, especially in America, if, for instance, let's say it's a computer, you take it out of the box. Okay, the moment you take it out of the box, the law in this country considers that used. Okay, so I'm the merchant, and you come back and say, I don't want this computer. Now I cannot sell that as a new computer anymore. I can only sell it as a used computer. Which means I sold it to you for $100. I can't sell it again for $100. I have to sell it for $80 because it's used. The law says I cannot sell it for you.
but you see the problem with this here.
See, so I just, because of the fact that this person brought this return, this merchant lost $20.
Now, but let me tell you something of the pricing though. Every store in America, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, factor in the prices that people return. Therefore, the prices is high. Why? Because the fact that someone bring it and I have to sell it as used and those kind of things.
They not only consider returns, they also consider theft. Shoplifting.
Subhanallah.
Shoplifting is one of the costs they take into account.
Subhanallah.
Oh yeah.
Therefore, if we have honesty, it becomes the policy, then the economy will be good. And Mitt Romney and Obama, they should use that in their speech of improving the economy. The factor of the moral ethics in buying and selling. طيب. الاحتمال الثالث أن يفصل بين المحقرات وغيرها كما قال أبو حنيفة رحمه الله. عند ذلك يتعسر الضبط في المحقرات ويشكل وجه نقل الملك من غير لفظ يدل عليه. He said that then if you differentiate between muhaqqirat and what the thing is higher value, he said then definition of muhaqqirat, which is things are less important, it become an issue itself. The issue of mu'atat, sometimes somebody puts something in your basket, said, خلاص, you're gonna buy it. I put it there. And there's no jab' or qabul. That's forcing. And the person will feel like shy. There's no a clear, I want this, you buy this, and so forth. That also forces people to buy things they don't want. It's not good. It's still the bay' is correct, but it's not good. But in the issue of mu'ata, the example that I gave you of the grocery store is one of the best examples in America, which is permissible and to do mu'ata by bringing the merchants and paying for it without having the exchange of contract. There's no written contract or even verbal contract between the person. And that's what he made a case here. He said this happened always in the grocery store, like food, he said, and the things that is not of great value. When it comes to housing, when it comes to car, and at the time called dabba, he said a camel or a sheep and so forth, he said you must have the clarity in selling and buying. It cannot just by picking up and pay for it later. It has to be contract being spelled out and the terms have been known. There's no terms in buying food. There's no time of going to a restaurant. You just ask for the food and they bring you the food and you pay for it. But there's no, even you don't know the price sometimes of those things. He said that's acceptable in a shay al-haqir. And say the important, it is not acceptable. And by the way, he made this is the argument for the food in this, and then we will discuss, inshallah, was something very, very important, because some of the examples that, as I reviewed last week, he made here that for his time, was he going to talk about riba, aqd riba. What is constitute usury riba?
money.
That's inshallah.
What about the culture of America has been set because they imply that you can return stuff when you're not satisfied. They say 30 days, bring it back. So they've created an atmosphere of non-perishable. For whatever reason, if you're not satisfied, return it.
But there's certain items you don't return in America. Not all items are returnable.
No, I'm saying non-perishable. I'm saying
No.
not food. But
Yeah.
generally speaking, they take the chance with people. And they through customary acceptance.
That's acceptable. That custom is acceptable. I was talking about people buying things with the intention of using them and returning them.
Yeah.
You need to spread this out. Tell your friends and everyone else, you cannot use something. You say, I'm going to use it for the trip. I will come back before 30 days expire and return it.
Now with the niyyah.
That's haram. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك. تعال يا يوسف.
الله أكبر الله أكبر